right, everybody. Well, welcome to Sunday Talk. I have Stephanie Bain with me today from Pismo Beach Athletic Club. Super excited to have you on. How are you, darling?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you for having me.
Yes. So today we're going to talk about stress management. As you know, I think a lot of us are kind of having some need for some stress management tips. We pretty much all know about the regular stuff that we talked about this, the hydration, the nutrition, the exercising, but I love how you come with the new sense of mind and body. So let me just tell you, Stephanie Bain is a certified mind and body specialist and stress management coach. She blends all aspects of wellness and fitness. Look for her on Instagram as Inspire the Wildfire. Her purpose is to ignite a wildfire in your soul. So I love that. So we're going to talk about, you said this so nicely, like 5 gentle reminders, So the first one was breathe. So deep breaths in the moment, going into your belly, breathing, meditations, and recommend stretching. So why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so a lot of times when we're in a stressful situation, we forget to breathe. And it sounds super simple and easy, but we just forget to breathe. So deep breaths in the moment will really help, just to kind of like pause, just get it out right then and there. And then the belly breathing is actually an exercise that you can do later. And that's something that you can incorporate with maybe just taking some time out to learn how to do that. You can Google it, belly breathing, but it's basically taking 4 breaths in, or taking a deep breath in for a count of 4 seconds, and then bringing that air down to your belly and then exhaling for the same amount of time through your mouth. So it's something you can Google and learn, and you can incorporate that. I know a lot of people are doing meditation right now.
Right.
So that's the thing that they could incorporate that. And then, as you know, I do a course for Pismo Beach Athletic Club, a class called Mindful Stretching.
Yes.
Yeah, incorporating stretching with your breathing is good too, because we know stretching has great benefits physically, but it also is a natural stress reliever too. So that's something that you can do is, breathe, stretch, meditate.
Right. So, and we, like you said, we can Google those things and kind of get a little bit more on that, but or when we get back to class Mondays, we can catch you obviously at 7.
Yes, right? and on my Instagram, it has different suggestions too on there.
Okay.
Belly breathing exercises on there too, if you wanted to.
Yeah, and at the end, we're going to touch on that Instagram on what you do on Sundays for Mondays. So, so love that. So breathe. Number 2, self-care. So this is touches a chord. So use alcohol as coping mechanisms during grieving process, shifting into self-care using sensory details to relax. So yes, because I love how you're saying the grieving process is, I think this, since we don't have control of what's going on, we are kind of seeing a sense of some sort of grieving or just not having that control anymore.
This is something totally unordinary, right? So we're all going through like a trauma almost and not sure how to handle it, which is natural. And so there is a sense of grieving that we're feeling. And then what happens when you're in that situation is you try to self-soothe with different things, so through self-care, sensory details. Right now we're like overusing the with overeating and over drinking,
Right.
And there's no judgment on that, right? Because we don't want to make ourselves feel bad for using these as coping mechanisms. So what my reminder is that we have other sensory details that we can use to help us. So using essential oils and candles, incorporating, your smell, taking a bath, listening to calming music, maybe instead of the second glass of wine, drinking herbal tea instead.
Right.
Or taking advantage of the time to just watch the sunset or sunrise or the birds in the yard. So just incorporating all the senses.
Right. And that self-care, because I loved how when I reached out to you, you said you were that you were good, you know, and you didn't say it in a condescending way. You were just like, you're using this time as like a reflection and working on things for you. And I, you know, because the struggle is real. It's been, not all of us are just like, we're going to take this time and we're going to, you know, do all these things. So I think that forgiving, like being forgiving with yourself, you know, is also super important right now.
Sure.
With everything. So this one I love, number 3, stay in control of your thoughts, one day at a time.
Yeah, for sure. So a lot of times, and this is not to discount that we all have very real, scary things happening, you know, especially I'm a single person, a single woman in like one of the most expensive areas in the world.
Right.
I feel this financial strain,
right.
You know, so there are real things that we have to worry about. But a lot of times what happens if we don't control our thoughts, we'll just start thinking about worst case scenario. And then we just go down this rabbit hole of negativity, which then impacts our whole day. And if we have people in our household, they're getting impacted negatively as well. So the idea is to just be in control of your thoughts. Notice, okay, is there anything I can do about it right now? Well, then that might lessen the stress for you. You know, you don't have to think about it right that moment. And then a lot of times, sometimes I catch myself talking negatively or thinking of a situation really negatively. And then I just get ridiculous with the positivity. So instead of me going like, oh my gosh, I don't have a paycheck, I'm going to lose my house, I'm going to lose this, I'm going to lose that, I'll like go the opposite. Like, oh, I won the lottery. And what am I doing with the lottery money? Oh, I'm going to go to Bali. Well, let's research Bali and find out about that.
Right. I love it.
Use your imagination, like use it positively. You know?
Right.
So, just catch yourself, because I know there are real things that we have to be stressed about for sure. But just don't allow yourself to just get completely affected where you can't.
So turn that around, switch that with that thought. Yeah. Love it. And that's what we really kind of need to be doing on the daily, regardless of what's kind of happened. Our self-negative talk is no bueno. So we know that. Yeah. Okay. Love it. So number 4, staying present. Reasonable daily to-do list to keep from being overwhelmed, help you feel accomplished and productive. Love that.
So 4 and 3, controlling your thoughts and staying present, those are really helpful things. And there's skills that you can learn, practices that you can do to kind of, if you find yourself having a hard time staying present and staying in the moment. But the part about the to-do list, you know, it's really easy for us to sit here and go, okay, there's 10 things that I need to get done. But a lot of times we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to get it done when we don't have to, you know, spreading out those stressful things. Oh, I've got to call the bank and I got to call for my car loan and my credit card. You know, do you want to sit down and do it all in one day and then not have to think about it? Or is it easier for you to, you know, do one stressful call a day, you know, and give yourself a break?
Sure.
But then once you get it done, you feel really accomplished. I find sometimes I'll do that. I'll have 3 people I need to call, and I'm like, I'll just call one. And then after getting that done, I'll just bust it out, you know?
Because you build that momentum. You're kind of already in that mindset. Yeah.
But keep your expectations reasonable too, you know, and giving yourself that time to just be present.
Right. I love that. And that's some of the stuff that you would, when you do your class on Monday, I really love that, the stretching, and then just your voice and the words that you were putting into our minds, you know, really does make a huge difference on how you're going to be for the rest of the day and the rest of the week, you know? So that's pretty important. So we have staying present. Number 5, this is probably an eye opener for me when you presented it to me, and I really love it. Surrender. Feel the feelings. Fight the resistance to change. Resistance creates unnecessary suffering for things that are out of our control. Yeah.
So we're all in this. There's not one person that's not being affected, you know, negatively in this. So whatever emotion you're having is okay. And you just allow that emotion to feel it in the moment. And then just surrender, in the sense of like, don't fight the change, right? We don't have control over the fact that we can't go to work. We don't have control over the fact that we don't have our money coming in right now. You know, it's just like, there's a lot of things that, like, I could sit here, you could sit here all day and get stressed out about it. But actually when you're fighting that change, you're creating more resistance and just adding to the suffering. So knowing, you know, this is going to have an end. You know, things are going to go back, and it's going to be, I don't know, changed in some way, but
Sure.
It's going to have an end. We're going to go back to work and stuff. And so just thinking of this time of having no regrets, that's what I think. I work 5 days a week, and I'm tired a lot of times. So I'm kind of like, I don't want to look back and be like, what did I do with that X amount of time off? You know?
Sure.
Thinking about if we have people that we're quarantined with, do you want your kids to remember this time of, like, mom was just super stressed out and drinking wine the whole time, and
Right.
it felt weird and it was scary, or is it going to be like, oh, we did puzzles as a family and we had this great memories? It's an opportunity, you know, if we just surrender to what is. It is what it is. If we're not fighting it and we're like just making the best of it, and not just making the best of it, actually like looking for the blessing, because that's always possible, looking for the positive.
Right. Yeah. No, I like my daughter, Sarah, she's become the workout queen, you know, in the garage and all twice a day. And now she's like totally inspired me. And so it is, you know, she took it and turned it around and said, I'm just going to get fit during this time. And she's like 18.
Awesome.
I'm like, wow. So that's pretty cool. So let's circle back around. The 5 reminders for handling stress. Gentle reminders. I love how you said that it's reminders. If you just take one of these things that might help somebody today. I think you and I come from the same place where we love our community. You know, you do the aqua aerobics. I'm sure everybody misses you, that whole generation at the gym. I miss my sauna time. Everybody knows I'm a sauna girl. So, but then, you know, I'm going to come back to it, with a much more grateful heart with it, and, you know, really appreciating all of that. So, you know, I think when I reached out to you, I was like, you know, I just know I'm stressed out sometimes. I try not to go there. My friends, you know, that have small businesses, you know, this is a community that I grew up in. My kids, you know, raised my kids here, and I feel like this is just something to try, whatever we can do, bring some positiveness. And I mean, this girl here, Stephanie, I can't wait to share her Instagram with you guys and what she does with that after we're done here. But just her whole genuine presence, she has a great soul and gift. So I'm really grateful that you came on with me today. Yes. So let's recap what Stephanie had for us today. It's good stuff. So let's remember to breathe, right? Our self-care, you know, let's try to reel in the things that aren't bringing us into a positive place, you know. Let's stay in control of our thoughts, which I think that's super important today and always, you know, to take care of what's going on in here. So staying present again, take those tasks, you know, we all have things that we're trying to accomplish on the daily. Don't not get too far ahead of ourselves, because when you really put it in perspective, I think we all know that we know that we only had the day, you know, today, you know, so let's just embrace that fact that we always just knew we had the day, you know, and right now it just feels a little bit strange, you know, a little weird. So, and then the surrender, like feel the feelings. I really like that one. Like, it's okay to kind of feel it and figure out how you're going to, you know, deal with it, you know? So I really love that. So tell us about your Inspire the Wildfire on Instagram. So what do you provide there for anybody to go follow you there? And what is that platform for everybody?
Yeah, so that's the only social media that I have, because I get overwhelmed with it. So it's just all on Instagram. Inspire the Wildfire is because I felt like it was my job as a personal trainer to inspire my people and get them motivated. And then they are actually the ones that inspire me, because I see their struggles and I see just how their journey is. And so then it becomes an inspiration for me. So it's kind of this full circle.
Right.
That's where I got the name. And on there, I really simplified it this year. And for mindful movement, that's a class that I do at Pismo Beach Athletic Club. It's a stretching class. And we add elements of mindfulness in it. So a lot of times I give an intention at the beginning of the class, and then as we're stretching, we're talking about it. And then at the end, I give what I call mindful soul work, which is homework to do at home, and something for you to just think about for the week. I know for me, I work best when I have goals. So it's just something that I can have for my week. And so I have put that on Sunday nights. I make sure it's there so that Monday morning, the people that were still taking stretching, or people who want to just add that to theirs, they can add that mindful piece to it. And so that's what mostly gets put on the Instagram. But on there is an email button to contact me on there. And sometimes I incorporate stuff from the club, but I don't have that right now.
Yeah, but it's still there. It's still there. And it was, like I said, it was very impactful for me, someone that's taken yoga in the past, but just that your words of like those intentions, like you were saying, and what we were going to try to work on, it just really takes you to a good place, to kind of regroup.
And it's meant for stress management, which is like kudos to Pismo Beach Athletic Club, because we've never had a class like this. And, I presented it, and both the manager and the fitness director were just like, they let me run with it, so that was really cool. And it's something that I did because I needed it in my life. And so it's kind of streamlined, and it feels like I'm paying it forward, like stuff that I learned, and I'm just sharing with my friends. Like, this was the stressful part of my life, and I did this, and this helped. So it's kind of like, that's what the class is. I mean, we've used tennis balls for doing pressure points. And so on the Instagram, I have included different things that you can do, like the belly breathings on there, different exercises to just keep present moment, and that's stuff that you can do, like washing the dishes and feeling the soap and the suds, and like, just inspiring you to be more mindful and be thoughtful about your existence, because we go on pilot so much where we're just
Yes. And so we can find you on Instagram, which is awesome. And I just kind of wanted to give everybody a little bit of something to chew on with you, because you're kind of the real deal with your health journey. And if you could summarize your personal health journey, because I feel it definitely has inspired me. You're always so willing to, every time I would go at the front, like when I couldn't run anymore, you're like, why don't you try swimming? You were just always that type of a person that just is so giving, and a good ear to listen as well. But yeah, tell us a little bit about your personal journey, because I love this story.
Oh, okay, thanks. All right, once upon a time.
Yes.
Yeah, so in my 20s growing up, I was having health issues, and it was finally when I turned 30, 2000, I got diagnosed with, or 2010, sorry, I got diagnosed with lupus, which is an autoimmune disease. And at the time I lived in Oregon, and I was married, and we just had a really stressful life, and that was just making the symptoms a lot worse. So 2012, we moved back here, which is home. And I crawled into bed for a really long time. And I wasn't bedridden. I just, if I was home, I was in bed, and I was dealing with a lot of pain, and when you don't feel good, all you want to do is bundle up and stay still. And what I realized is, especially with my particular illness, that just was making it worse. And then I decided I wanted to start moving again. So I joined Pismo Beach Athletic Club. I got a 2-month membership there. And I think I saw something about aqua aerobics being good for joint-ish pain. So that's why I started doing that. So I started taking the aqua. I did really good 2 months. And then I fell off the exercise wagon.
I love it. It's so human. It's so normal. Yes.
For almost a year.
Yeah.
Another gym in the area was running a special where you could get 3 training sessions with a personal trainer. And so I joined over there, and actually ended up staying with that trainer for 2 years. and in 2 years went from barely being able to spend a half an hour at the gym to then like sprinting on the treadmill like an athlete. I just like fell in love with working out. And so then a little while later, I started working at Pismo Beach Athletic Club, and I did that just as a side hustle. I was gonna start a small business. And while I was there, people kept asking me, are you a trainer? Are you a trainer? And I was like, I don't know, maybe I could.
Can I be? Yes, yeah.
And then as soon as it took me about 6 months to get that, but as soon as I did, it was my calling. So
right.
The full circle to this story is that now I teach the aqua aerobics at the place that I started my journey. So now I that, and it took me 3 years to lose 60 pounds. And so it took a lot of different, trial and error. And so what I do is I bring that to my people. I say, here's a suggestion. If it works for you, great, but then I started realizing a lot of my health journey and why I had the extra weight on. There was some emotional components to that too. And so I found this passion with the mind-body connection, because everything's connected. So
I think it's hard to move when we're not okay up here. It's difficult. And I think, we all have our stories. We all have our struggles. So I think sometimes life is like this, and sometimes you're right on it. And sometimes, hey, 3 years, but you did it, and there you are. And I think it's just so inspiring and so great. So
I look at myself as a guide. I had guides helping me along the way, and they still have guides that help me too. So it's helpful if I can help someone.
Awesome. With that,
so check out the Instagram.
Yeah, check out the Instagram for sure. And what made you come up with the name? Inspire the Wildfire. I love it.
Because I feel like a burning passion. And I was there we go. Yes,
perfect. So everybody, let's reach out to Stephanie on Instagram. I personally can tell you she is just the real deal and super sincere, and I just gravitated to her. She's always been one of many people at the gym. It's a great environment there at PBAC. I definitely miss it. She just has a shine to her, something that's just fabulous. I can't say enough about her, but my girl crush. Well, we're single ladies. We're pretty, we're living our thing, and it's just so great to reach out to each other and nourish our souls. I found this thing and I love it. So thank you. I hope everybody's having a fabulous Sunday. I'm compelled to do what I can for this community that I love so much. So I think this is a good little tidbit to kind of help us right now during this time. So I couldn't thank you enough, my dear. And as everybody knows, I'm Verenice White, Sunday Talk, Remax Gold, and it's all about taking care of yourself, and reach out to Stephanie because she's there for you. So hasta luego.